You have to grab the gun. I know you don't want to, but you have to.
You ever hear a story that makes you want to give a standing ovation, but also makes your blood boil at the same time? Because that's exactly how I feel about this mother who took on 3 armed intruders while holding her baby in the other hand. That's right, one hand on a gun, one hand on her child, and all the heart in the world. But the part that really gets me, she actually warned them first. And what did they do? They shot at her anyway.
A Decatur mother was hospitalized after being shot in her home.
Yeah, tonight she tells WAND's Ben Mackey the split-second decision she took to protect herself and her kids.
Alexia Templar woke up in the middle of the night to shattering glass and footsteps.
I don't know who you are, but get out of my house or I will shoot you. And immediately they started shooting at me.
Templar shot back, trying to protect her 2 young children in the room with her. She was hit twice, once in the left arm and once in the right hip.
I shut the door and I grab my kids and I go to the closet and I'm yelling at them and I'm pleading, please, like, you know, I'm already shot. I have kids. Please don't kill my kids. Like, I'm begging you, please don't come in here. Please don't hurt me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill my kids.
Both eventually left. Now, Templar's afraid to bring her kids back home.
I can't feel the same in my house. Like, it doesn't feel like my home anymore. I can't go back there and sleep there and I won't feel okay being there.
Even after being shot and filled with terror, Alexia only cares about one thing.
My kids are my everything. So in that moment, I don't even care if I was to die. You know, in that moment, I didn't even care. I just wanted to make sure that my kids were unharmed, and, you know, they were. So I was grateful.
This right here is why I always say we as armed citizens are behind the 8 ball. Criminals know when, where, and how they're going to strike. We're just reacting. And that puts us at a massive disadvantage. But you know what levels the playing field? The element of surprise. Because when criminals think they have all the power and then suddenly they don't because they're reacting to an armed citizen who they didn't expect, that's when you take back control. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying she did anything wrong. I'm Monday morning quarterbacking at this point. But this woman did what her instincts told her to do. She tried to give them a chance to leave. But let's just be real. If someone is bold enough to break into your home, they are bold enough to kill you. And if that doesn't convince you, then look at what happened here. She told them to leave and they shot at her. They didn't hesitate. They didn't run. They fired. That's the reality of home invasions. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know if they just want your TV or want your life, which is why in situations like this, you have to think about what gives you the best chance of surviving. Announcing yourself gives away your position. It gives them time to react. And if they're already willing to shoot at you, you've just given them an advantage. Instead, the best move might be to just keep quiet, take control of the situation on your terms. And here's the thing. This situation could have played out 100 different ways, and not all of them would have ended with her surviving. Even in a clear-cut case of self-defense, you still have to deal with the legal aftermath, and that's where people get blindsided. You're thinking, I defended myself and saved my kids. I should be good, right? Well, tell that to Veronica, a USCCA member who had to fight not just for her life, but for her freedom after defending herself with her gun.
This is the incident where it happened, where my shooting happened. I'm here with my lawyer, Julian. Guy with the gun come up the hill.
And how far down the hill, Veronica, was this from your house about?
About 4 or 5 steps. It happened right here.
She was literally ambushed in front of her home. A guy pulls a gun on her, she fires back, and guess what? Veronica is the one who ends up in jail.
Initially, myself and my law partner received a phone call from the critical response team from USCCA indicating that they had a member who was in custody in county jail for a shooting. This was not our first time working with them. We'd had at least 2 prior experiences that both were very positive. And based on those experiences, signed ourselves up for the attorney network so that we would be available to members in crisis. So that's how we initially got involved with Veronica. We didn't know too much information at that point. All we knew was that it wasn't a death investigation. Ultimately, after we met with Veronica at the jail, we learned, kind of talked to her literally phone through the glass. We learned that there had been a self-defense incident involving her use of her firearm protecting not only herself, but her son Cedric.
And if it weren't for the USCCA stepping in, she would have been stuck behind bars, facing charges that could have ruined her life. The USCCA made sure she had a lawyer, one that actually understood the self-defense laws and covered her legal costs so that she didn't have to choose between hiring a defense team or paying her bills.
He aimed his gun and tried to shoot, so I started shooting.
Thankfully, though, his gun actually did not fire. It jammed. Veronica was able to get off, I believe, 3 rounds before Jordan ultimately was able to fire a couple shots off. But then he took off not long after recognizing that Veronica did return fire and had a firearm.
If you carry a gun, you need to think about this because winning a gunfight is only half the battle. The legal fight comes right after. So do yourself a favor and check out the USCCA. And even if you don't go with the USCCA, get something. Something is better than nothing. But if you want to learn more about USCCA, hit the link in the description section of this video because it's the protection you need after you've protected yourself. And that brings me back to this mother. She survived. She fought off 3 intruders while holding her child. But now she's left with the aftermath, the bullet wounds, the trauma, the fact that her home, her supposed safe space, no longer feels safe. That's something people don't talk about enough. The violation of having your home broken into, of knowing that danger came through your front door. She even said it herself. She doesn't feel safe bringing her kids back home. And honestly, I don't blame her. This is why we have the castle doctrine, because your home is supposed to be the one place where you don't have to worry about the chaos of the world. It's supposed to be your sanctuary. And when criminals take that from you, you don't just get that back overnight. It lingers. Every creak, every shadow, every time you close your eyes, you're wondering if it's going to happen again. And let's not forget, these criminals got caught. But what happens when they get out? Retaliation is a real concern. This woman did everything right, but now she has to live with the fear that one day these guys or someone like them might come back. So what do we take away from this? Well, first, don't assume an intruder is just there to steal. Second, don't give up your position if you don't have to. And third, understand that even if you do everything right, you still may have to deal with the legal system afterwards. And that's why you train, you prepare, and you have legal protection lined up before you ever need it. One thing's for certain and 2 things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.